For those of you I haven't met in the house or online, I'm Reverend Ben Jamison. It's my pleasure to be your associate minister today and to welcome everyone here today for the first time and all of the mothers who are here. Mothers are one of those power of one that can certainly change the world, so thank you for being with us today. You know, here at Centers for... Yes. Here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we have 7 core values that guide everything we do. Those 7 values are love, healing, oneness, abundance, spiritual growth, service, and diversity. And today we're focusing on diversity. And you know, I think it's really perfect that we have the core value of diversity and Mother's Day coincide. Because when it comes to Mother's Day, we tend to have a very traditional view and assume that everybody has the same experience. Right? A mother is a female woman who has birthed or adopted and is raising a child, and we assume that everybody is having a happy Mother's Day and that everybody enjoys the experience of Mother's Day. And yet there is truly a diverse experience and expression around Mother's Day. You know, some people maybe had a challenging relationship with their mother or didn't have a relationship at all, and so this holiday can be a little challenging. For some of us, this is the first Mother's Day without the mother in the physical body, and that can make this day hard as well. Some people desperately want a child but can't physically have one and can't afford the cost of adoption, and so this is a challenging day. There's a lot of different ways that people express mothering as well. Beyond that traditional role, it doesn't necessarily matter if your gender is female or not. Certainly we all know men who fulfill that nurturing, mothering role for another, or people who are transgender, or people who are gender nonconforming. It's more about the way we bring that loving motherly energy to another person. That person may be a child of ours. It may not be. It may be the child of a friend or the niece or a nephew that needs that unique expression of that mothering love that only we can provide. And so for Mother's Day today, in honor of all the diverse expressions of Mother's Day and in support of even the traditional expressions of Mother's Day, no matter who you are or how you bring that divine motherly energy to our human family, thank you for all you do, and happy Mother's Day. So it is Mother's Day. Once again, we've said that several times this morning already. It bears repeating. I've got a special guest in the house with me today. My mother-in-law, Nancy, flew in from Southern California to celebrate Mother's Day and my wife's birthday. So thank you for being here today with us. And for everybody who has traveled, whether you're the mother traveling to see your children, or the sons and daughters traveling to be with your mothers, and you've taken time out of your holiday to be with us today. Thank you so much for that. We do want to honor everybody who brings forward that mothering energy, again, regardless of your gender expression, or the human being that you provide that motherly energy to. So as we leave service today, there will be roses in the lobby for those of you that are being that motherly presence. Make sure you pick one of those up on the way out in honoring of all that you give to our human family. Now, today we're talking about the new 10 Commandments, and this comes from our book of the month, You Are the Power, by Dr. Kennedy Schultz. And before we jump into exploring the new 10 Commandments, I want to address a little bit of something that might be going on in some of your experience. You see, last week the talk title was In the Beginning, God. This week, it's the new 10 Commandments. Upcoming, we have the 23rd Psalm. You have a lot of biblical references coming out of this book. And we're looking at taking those biblical ideas and updating them into a more modern metaphysical context. But for many people in this community, you have come out from a traditional Christian background because of the woundedness that came from that. And so many of you may be wondering, why do I even want to take the time to think about updating the 10 Commandments to a modern metaphysical context when I left that behind for good reason? Well, here's the deal. These biblical ideas are part of our cultural consciousness. They're all around us. They exist within our subconscious mind. We'll see them out in the world, and they're going to pop up in our own minds from time to time. And so to the degree that those trigger a woundedness in us, they begin to be a barrier to our spiritual growth. But if we're able and practiced at hearing those ideas and then translating them into a way that we are able to extract the good that was intended behind those ideas initially, they will become something that propels us forward in our growth rather than hinders us. And at the same time, I want to recognize and acknowledge that this can be a bit of a challenge for some of us. From the perspective of a speaker, it can also be a little bit of a challenge. Because what would be so easy to do would be to trigger that woundedness and then go into church bashing. It would be a very effective way to engage you really powerfully and keep your attention, but that doesn't fit with who we are here. It doesn't promote love or healing, and so we're not going to do that today. We're certainly going to look at what the languaging around the Ten Commandments was and how that creates a problem, but no church bashing here today, friends. The other thing to note before we jump in, for those of you that are doing the math and watching the clock and thinking, wait a second, there's 10 commandments and he's been talking for 3 minutes, how in the world is he going to get to all 10? I'm not. There's no way, even with a full 20-minute talk, to get to all 10 commandments. But don't worry, we will get to several and you will have some good grist for the mill from the exploration today. So, the new 10 commandments. You know, whenever we look at a different religion or aspects of religion that came from a different time or a different culture, and we're wanting to update and translate those ideas into something that works well for us, it's good to look at what the culture was at the time and how they believed about spirit to help understand why the languaging was the way that it was. So, the culture that birthed the Ten Commandments believed in a very law-oriented God. There was the law, and you followed the law. And if you broke the law, there was punishment, there was consequences. It was a very punitive way of relating to spirit. And so when we look at the beginning, just the title, the Ten Commandments, we can get a little bit of that punitive energy right there, right? Who likes being at the receiving end of a commandment? Anybody? No, certainly not me. I know it puts me in a bit of an aggressive, like, oh yeah, you want to command me to do something, right? We push back against that, right? We don't like that. And when we look more deeply, we see that 8 of the 10 are written in the negative. Thou shalt not. What you shouldn't do, not what's good to do. But again, given the context of the culture, that makes sense, that that's why they were written in this way. Of course, there's difficulty with that, and so not only are we going to be looking at bringing these up to a metaphysical understanding, but we're going to shift them from a negative context to a positive context. Now, that's different than positive thinking, right? We do a lot of positive thinking, and sometimes we get in trouble with our positive thinking. There's a lot of criticism about new thought and positive thinking being a little overblown. Perfect example. Let's say you decide you're going to be a runner, right? So you start running, you've run for about a month, and you say you're going to enter your first race, and so you're going to do your positive thinking, and you say, you know what? I'm going to beat everybody and set a new world record. I'm going to beat everybody and set a new world record, and that's your positive thinking after running for just a month. And that, of course, doesn't fit well in your subconscious awareness of what you actually can do, so it can be a hindrance and a barrier to you actually performing well. Whereas on the other end, positive thinking that would be beneficial would be something along the lines of, I'm going to do the very best that I can and have a blast regardless, right? So that's positive thinking. We don't want to just go into positive thinking about the Ten Commandments. We want to do a positive context, which will have a much broader impact in our experience. So let's take a look at the first of the Ten Commandments that we're going to deal with today. It's a very powerful one, a very intense one. Thou shalt not kill. No, we don't need that slide yet. We can get rid of that. A little early. That's okay. Thou shalt not kill. I won't kill you, I promise. It's good. Thou shalt not kill. No, so when we look at this, what we know in New Thought is that where your attention goes, your energy flows and you get more of that thing. What you focus on expands in your life. So when we look at this commandment, thou shalt not kill, what's the focus? Well, there are two focuses in there. The first is the not part, right? No, don't, bad, wrong. No, don't, bad, wrong. And then we tend to personify that, right? To take that on ourselves. No, don't, bad, wrong. Am I bad? Am I wrong? Oh my God, is there something bad and wrong about me? Because of this negative context. And the second focus in there is killing, right? No, don't, bad, wrong, kill, violence, aggression. No, don't, bad, wrong, kill, violence, aggression. And since those are the two things that we're focusing on, even though the intention was positive, We tend to have an experience in our subconscious mind that supports no, don't, bad, wrong, and violence and aggression. And if we look around at society, we can see that there are challenges we have with people being perfectionist and people negatively relating to themselves and people having a bit of an aggressive violence expression. Another challenge that we have when we look at thou shalt not kill, when we look at a commandment that says don't do this one thing that is on the far end of a spectrum, is that there's a whole lot of that spectrum that you can do and not violate the commandment. You can be really awful to somebody. You can beat somebody within an inch of their life, and as long as they don't actually die, you haven't violated that commandment. Now, again, it was not the intention of this commandment to create so much space for people to wound so many other people in the name of their religion, just as long as they don't take that last step. But so often, well-intentioned things have unintended consequences, and this is one of them. We have a huge playground of negative things that we can do to other people and still be aligned with the commandment. So how do we shift this? How do we update this limited negative idea into one that is in a positive context and affirmative? Well, Kennedy Schultz, the author of the book, does this in the book very well, and this is the rewritten commandment for thou shalt not kill. He says, thou shalt honor life wherever you see it, because wherever life is honored, goodness must flow. So let's go back to that exploration of focus. What's the focus of this rewritten commandment? Well, the first focus is yes, do this. Yes, do this, right? It's a very affirmative focus rather than a no, don't, bad. It's a yes, do this. Well, what's the yes, do focus? Honoring, right? Honoring. What an uplifting, empowering energy. Honoring what? Honoring life. One life? A certain expression of life? No, life everywhere I see it. Which brings about a diversity and equality, because if I'm going to honor life wherever I see it, that means that first I have to go and look at life, and then I have to recognize that every expression of life is different and unique and diverse, because I can't honor individual expressions of life the same way and have that really be honoring that individual expression of life, right? If I'm going to honor a unique expression of life, there is a unique way for me to honor it that is perfectly aligned with that expression. Which means that I got to get to know you a little bit better. It means that I got to understand where you're coming from. I got to put myself in your shoes. I got to feel out your culture. I got to learn more about you so that I can find the wonderful, unique way that I can honor the expression of life that only you can bring to this planet. And of course, wherever I do that, goodness flows, because if I'm getting to know you and you're getting to know me and we find that oneness, yet another of our core values, how much more rich is life? And then if we really practice this, we just might be getting ready in the morning and look in the mirror and actually recognize that unique expression of life that is us as well. And when we're practiced in honoring that in other people, we might be able to honor it in ourselves. Shall honor life wherever you see it. Now, intellectually, this makes a lot of sense, right? We can see how thou shalt not kill is negative and restricting, and thou shalt honor all life wherever you see it, because wherever life is honored, surely goodness flows. Intellectually, you can tell the difference. The amazing thing is we can also experience the difference between the two right here and right now, if you're willing to do a little experiment with me. You see, these bodies are phenomenally precise instruments for measuring energy. So, if you're willing, take one hand and touch into your heart center so you can start feeling that heart center, and put the other on your solar plexus or your belly to start feeling into that. And just get a sense for what it feels like in your body right now. What's your energy like? How does it feel? What's going on inside? What's your body posture like? Just get a baseline sense for that. And then repeat after me and notice what happens. I shouldn't kill that person. There was a chuckle, but let's try it again and mean it. I shouldn't kill that person. What do you notice? How does your body shift? How does your energy shift? It might be subtle, but do you feel the constriction? Shake it out. We don't like that feeling. Let's shake that out. And then come back, touch in again, find that baseline again. Feel into that normal way that you are. And then repeat after me. I will honor all life wherever I see it. Do you feel the difference? Do you feel the heart opening? Did any of you notice yourselves sitting up a little bit taller, chest a little more open, a little more empowered? We can actually feel the energetic difference when we take something from a negative context and bring it into a positive context. We can experience it in the moment and have that be a way to help guide us into understanding what's the right and perfect way for me to honor this unique expression of life that's right in front of me. Kennedy Schultz then takes 3 of the original 10 commandments and rewrites them into 1. Those 3 are, thou shalt not covet property, thou shalt not steal, and thou shalt not commit adultery. He writes those 3 this way: thou shalt respect the property, honor the achievement, and celebrate the happy relationships of all others, because all are wonderful examples of the goodness that is at work in your life too. Respect the property, honor the achievement, celebrate the happy relationships. Story time from my own life. You may have heard me say around Valentine's Day that I used to call Valentine's Day Singles Awareness Day. And I was single the entire time I was doing that. No surprise there. But I would also actually disparage the relationships of people who were celebrating Valentine's Day. I would say, oh, how much extra are you going to spend for dinner today? You got your expensive card for this Hallmark holiday. How much did you spend on chocolates? I would disparage the very thing that I was wanting to have in my life. And consequently, I never had that thing until I caught myself doing it, and I shifted and I said, where are you going for dinner tonight? Oh, that's going to be delightful. You guys are going to have a great time. I'm so happy for you guys. You get some good chocolates. Oh, she's going to love those. He's going to love those, whatever. I started honoring their relationships. And not 2 years later, after a decade of not being in a relationship to celebrate Valentine's Day, 2 years later, I was introduced to the woman I would marry on Valentine's Day, and there is no doubt that that was intentional in a purposeful universe. We should honor, respect the property, honor the achievement, and celebrate the happy relationships of all others, because that's evidence of the good in our life too. So here's a really easy way to practice this. Really easy, really powerful way to practice this. You need to memorize 2 short statements. The first statement is, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The second one, yes, thank you, more please. Let's say that. Yes, thank you, more please. Here's the deal. If you see anybody demonstrating anything that you want in your life, and you disparage that demonstration for that person in any way, you cut yourself off from the thing that you are wanting for yourself. Maybe there's a really nice car you want or a really wonderful experience, and you see somebody that you just cannot stand who has that thing, and you go, why in the world does that jerk get that nice thing and I don't get that nice thing? That's not fair. This isn't a fair universe. This metaphysics stuff is garbage. If it were true, how could their consciousness manifest that, right? And you're cutting yourself off from that thing. Instead, whenever you see anybody demonstrating anything that you want for yourself, the first thing to do is say, that's what I'm talking about. What are you talking about? You're talking about the demonstration that you want. Who are you saying that's what I'm talking about to? You're saying that to yourself. You're saying that to your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, your high self, your divine self, your personal self, the universal presence of love and wisdom that birthed everything, whatever you want to couch that presence as, you are telling it, that's what I'm talking about. Pay attention because I'm paying attention. This is what I want, and here I see it in front of me. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. What are we saying yes to? We're saying yes to that demonstration. Who are we saying yes to that demonstration for? Well, for myself, but also for the person who is demonstrating it, even if I do not like them at all. Because here's the thing, guys. The universe, spirit, the Bible quote is something like, God causes the sun to shine upon the just and the unjust alike, right? There is no restriction in spirit about who can have whatever they want to have. So to the degree that I want something for myself because it's a wonderful thing and I think it'll make my life better, but then I don't want it for you because I don't like you, I have unaligned myself with my spiritual nature and am cutting myself off from the manifestation of the thing that I want. So I say yes to it for myself. I say yes to it for the person demonstrating it. I say yes to that thing for anybody who wants that demonstration. Thank you. Thank you to myself for noticing. the demonstration right in front of me. Thank you, Spirit, for showing me this demonstration. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to see it in action so that I can then refine my own vision of what that looks like for me. More, please. More, please. I want to see more of it for other people, more of it for myself. More of this demonstration closer to me. Yes, thank you, more, please. That's what I'm talking about. Can you imagine if you were to catch yourself anytime you were about to disparage the demonstration of anybody else and stopped that and said, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, thank you, more please. And used that as a way to align yourself with your desire, how much more quickly your desires would come about? And here's the thing. It's part of that unique honoring of all life as well. We went on the water taxi this last weekend. I saw tons of $80 million yachts. And you know what? Not once did I look at those and go, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, thank you, more please. Because the first thing I'd do if you gave me that yacht is sell it. I'm not aligned with that at all. It's not my thing. But for somebody else it is. So I don't say yes, thank you, more please to something that's not aligned for me, but I can certainly celebrate that demonstration for somebody else, right? We should honor all life wherever we see it, because wherever life is honored, goodness flows. And we should respect the property, honor the achievement, and celebrate the happy relationships of all others, because these are demonstrations of the goodness that is at work in my life too. That's 4 of the 10 commandments, wrapped up into 2. There's a lot of work to be done there. I could suggest that you go home after Sunday today and look up the other 6 and practice rewriting them into a metaphysical context for yourself, but I know you won't do that, and I wouldn't want you to waste your time anyway. Because think about it, if you just lived these 2, how much would your life change? And there's one other thing that we can do when it comes to this practice. Where are the commandments that you have for yourself in your life? Where are the no, don't, bads, I shouldn't do that thing? That is not what you're going for, it's what you're trying to stay away from. Where do you have that in your own consciousness, and how can you then say, okay, what do I want? And how can I rework this languaging in my own consciousness to propel me forward toward what I want, rather than to have me think about no, don't, bad, and the thing that I don't want? We all have our own commandments that we need to rewrite, more importantly than the 10 that were brought forth thousands of years ago. So friends, in honor of the unique expression of life that all of you are, for your good and for my good and the good of all of us, I say that's what I'm talking about. Yes, thank you, more please. And together, let's explore the possibilities. Happy Mother's Day. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. We have an opportunity now to engage together in some spiritual practice. So I invite you to find yourself comfortable in your chair, allow your eyes to close, and let the beautiful tones of the music bring you into that deep, centered, meditative space.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within, when I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find, Spirit meets me there, Spirit meets me there.
And so as we turn our attention within, focusing on that centered space in our heart, we can connect with that divine mother, that mothering energy of the universe that birthed all of us, that lives in us, that lives as us, that cares for us. And in that connection, with that divine mother. We can say yes. Yes to that feeling of motherly love. Yes to that connection with our own mothers, whether they are biological or not, whether they are in the body or not. We can say thank you for all of the support we have received from anybody who has fulfilled a mothering role for us. Thank you for the opportunities that we have had to provide that nurturing energy to another. And more, please. More of the love, more of the connection, more of the support, more of the harmony, more of the joy, more of the divine self that we are. Of course, this divine mother says, yes. Yes, my beloved, thank you for asking. More is yours. And so in a moment of silence together, let's commune with that divine mother in whatever way is right for you to feel that love, that joy, that nurturing connection. Yes. Thank you. More, please. Knowing that we are infinitely and always connected to that source of universal love, that universal mother, that divine presence of life. That we can come back to this experience anytime we need to. We find gratitude in our experience. And taking a deep breath, allowing our attention to come back into our bodies in gratitude and love for this experience and this practice of meditation together, we allow it to be. And when you are ready, simply allow your eyes to open and be here now. We have an affirmation that we like to do together every week. You have that card on your chair, and it's a nice little card that you can take home and work with all week long, so it's not just a one Sunday thing. Let's say this affirmation together. Together, I live in alignment with the natural laws of a spiritual universe. And so taking that within, to that place where there is only one life, one presence, and one power. One perfect expression of good that birthed the universe and birthed you and birthed me and is living every single expression of life, that divine mother of all mothers. Knowing that there is only this one life and that it is with and for us, we have all that we need in this moment to move forward into our days, into our weeks, into our lives in a powerfully creative way. Knowing that, yes, thank you, more please, is with us and bringing to us our desires, and that as we celebrate this divine motherly energy within us and all around us, we know that we are infinitely connected to all the support and all the nurturing that we need. In celebration of all the ways that we mother others and that others mother us, we go forward this day in joy and celebration. And so it is. Make sure to like and share on Facebook and come back and see us again next week. 10 o'clock for meditation, 10:30 for service. Have a wonderful Mother's Day and a phenomenal week. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for watching, and thanks for supporting CSL. If you'd like to know more about us, check us out on our website or social media. Blessings.